why do my paints not act like other people's paints? I get that question a lot. And some of the issue is the temperature in your studio. And so I want to show you what happens when you lose 10 degrees, give or take, on your paints. So what I've done is I've made the exact same paint. I made it all in here and then portioned out 50 grams essentially in each of these. And what we're going to do is soak these ones in cold water. You can see the ice there. See if I can get this in without. And we're going to get these 10, 15, 20 degrees colder than my office, which is about 70 degrees. And this one's hot. You can kind of see the condensation around the edge here. I can feel it here. Same thing. We're going to pop my paints in here. We're going to warm these up. And then I'm going to leave these my regular temperature. So right now you can see, so that's 74.8 degrees. So I'm going to leave these for about 15 minutes. And we're going to hopefully get these to be about 90 and get these to be, about 90 and get these to be about 65. And then pour a painting of each of these and show you how different the exact same paint with 10 degrees difference acts. So you can take that into account when you're painting wherever you're doing it, in your garage, in your air-conditioned office, in the winter, in the summer, whenever the case may be. So give me 15 minutes and we'll come right back.
2 hours later.
This is the temperature in my room, so 72, 73. And then if I check, we're going to check this one. So this is on the cold side. You can see the ice is still in there. So this is 62, 63. So 10 degrees difference low. And then this one here, here. I don't want to mix these colors, but let's do this one because it's easier for you to see here. So you see this paint here is 90. So Arizona, Florida, Georgia, summer in your garage. That's what this one's looking like. Salt Lake City, where I'm at, in the winter, when you're not heating your home nearly as much, or if you're in the garage in the cold area. So again, 73. This is about 60. This is about 90. So I'm going to show you how the temperature, just for your reference, this color is phthalo green from Arteza. I had to get it all out, so I cut that open and ripped all the stuff out. So phthalo green from Arteza. The brown is Creative Inspirations Burnt Sienna with a little bit of Artist Loft Black because I wanted it to be a little bit darker. And the copper is Art Minds, Art Minds Copper. So I tried to fill these dirty pour cups at about the same rate. It didn't quite go as planned. So here I slowed down the hot paint a little bit. But once we get to the pour, I'm just going to leave it on normal speed so you can see how different each one of these paints move. Now, one interesting thing is when I poured this metallic in, you notice the hot, it sunk right to the bottom. The medium, it didn't quite, and the cold, it didn't sink at all because the paints are so thick. When it's colder, they just don't mix as much, so you don't see near as much mixing. And you definitely notice that as I pull this flip cup. And I pointed out later, but look at the cells on that hot. They just immediately showed up. I saw a little bit on the warm, but not near as much. And look how much faster the warm is moving. It was so fascinating to do these one right after the other. And The hot, it just moved so much faster than the rest. The other moved nice and, I had to kind of tilt the medium, a normal 45 degrees or so to get the paint to move. This is almost straight up and down for the cold. It just didn't want to move. So you really notice the speed of the paint. And while I was doing that, I was totally thinking, man, I wonder if some of the reason that these artists that are in really hot climates get a lot more cells than some of us that aren't in hotter climates, or that we like our air conditioner way up in our home because we like it to be cooler. So I got a bunch of ideas from this that I just want to try. I don't have any proof other than what I have felt during pours in the past. That's why I wanted to do this experiment, to really put it to the test and see how it affects paint, how hot or cold it is. All right, this experiment went 1,000 times better than I was expecting. I knew they'd be different. I did not realize how different the temperature made them. So this is my cold, this is my room temperature, and this is my hot. Now again, this was 60, just above 60 degrees. This was 73-ish degrees, and this was more like 90 degrees. But look at the difference. Almost no cells. You can see kind of the shimmer of the copper. It's really going to be pretty when there is some beautiful colors in here, don't get me wrong, but almost no cells. Then we have the room temperature. Initially it didn't have a ton of cells, but then some cells started popping up, and I did get these wonderful ones right here. And I got a lot of the color. I got a lot more color layering. Just beautiful. Love it. And then the hot paint, there are cells everywhere. Everywhere. So, a couple things. Keep track of how warm it is in your painting studio or wherever you're painting, and maybe you need to warm up your paint a little bit right before you do it. It's going to cool down, so you want to kind of do it quick like I did, but it makes a huge, huge difference. And the reason why, if you don't know, when paint is warmer, it has the surface tension, which is what lets the paints rise and fall based on their density and the type of the paints that they are. So the warmer the paint is, really the more opportunity you have for cells, assuming you have paint that is cell reactive. I had a metallic, which I put in specifically so I could have a cell reactive paint. Cold, didn't get hardly any cells. Warm, got tons of cells. And I actually did a painting in the freezing cold here in Salt Lake City a winter or so ago, and this is how that one turned out.